Chciałem Państwu przedstawić szefa Red Hata, Michel. Michel. Thank you very much indeed. Michel is szefem Red Hata na całym e-maili. Jest z nami po raz pierwszy. Mam nadzieję, że nie po raz ostatni. Michel jest wielkim wielbicielem teatru, nowości i wielkim przyjacielem Polski. Zobaczycie to w jego prezentacji. Michel, thank you.
Thank
Floor
you very much,
yours.
Chris. Dziękujemy Państwu.
That was pretty entertaining, and I have no bottles of wine to give to any of you. I'm sorry for that. I'm going to talk about something else. So I'm Michel. I'm very happy to be here in Warsaw this morning. I started to come and visit your country in 1992, so you can think about a long time ago. And I have seen this country and the industry in this country changing year after year at a very fast speed, and this is why I believe this is the right place for open source to continue developing and offer an alternative to the industry. Do you remember that? Yeah. In somewhere 70 years ago, in the past century, Abraham Maslow built this model, which was related to motivations or needs and motivations of each individual. And actually, he built this model on the base of 5 tiers, which represent a sort of scalable set of needs, according to which people will only go to the next set of satisfaction and motivation after they have been satisfied in the previous one. This pyramid is made of the classic, usual physiological needs. We all need to have food and water on a daily basis. We need to feel secure. We don't feel to have any fear, any threat on us. And once these 2 first physiological needs and very basic needs are satisfied, this is when we can actually go towards higher needs or more superior needs and satisfactions, like belongingness and love. We need to feel some care from our close circle, friends, family. And then this is how we can go to self-esteem and also self-actualization or accomplishment. So how is this is this still valid nowadays, 70 years later? I think Maslow today would add 2 more needs. The first one is, do I have enough battery power? So could you raise your hand, all of those who have been checked whether they had enough battery power on their smartphone before entering this room, so that if this presentation is very interesting, you will take pictures and send messages to your relatives or make your emails if this presentation is not good enough. Who has been checking the battery? I don't believe you. Everyone has been checking the battery. And the Wi-Fi, same thing. As soon as you get here, this is what I did this morning. I said, is there a Wi-Fi code? How can I take advantage of this place? So, joke apart, the needs have changed. And the way this has an impact on our organizations is really massive. In our day-to-day life, we may be looking at the battery power that we have, at the Wi-Fi cost that we have, but think about what it means, what it looks like for organizations, for IT organizations. It's all about, nowadays, devices everywhere. It's all about applications everywhere. It's all about everything being on demand. And this is a massive change in a very, very short period of time. When you think about innovation within our companies, within our organizations, and the consequences of the technology revolution we have been going through over the last few years, we have to ask ourselves, what will motivate our team members, teammates, and colleagues moving forward? Because the context in which we operate has dramatically changed. Innovation. Let's think about innovation for a moment. Did you notice that we speak more and more about open innovation, collaboration, open data? And did you notice also how our workforce dynamics have been changing across the past years? Innovation is not only into the technology, it is also in the way organizations are developing, are challenging decisions, are looking for more innovation, more agility. Digital disruption is changing the nature of business. It is also changing the nature of the relationship between the people. Contemporary workers are demanding more and more from their organizations, and in particular from their leaders. The top-down, very standard, to a certain extent, old-fashioned organization have proven that they are less and less effective. What workers nowadays are looking for is for open organizations, for leaders who are open to debate. These are characteristics of open organizations. The possibility that talented people can share their ideas and have these supported by their management, even if the management is not completely convinced. But if a group of talented people have decided to go for a new idea, an innovative idea, they expect their management to support them. I was reading recently an article from Jeff Bezos, the CEO and chairman of Amazon. He was talking about disagree and commit attitude, which is exactly what open source is about. Once the talents have identified the best possible idea, they expect the management to support it. This is meritocracy. And this is also part of the innovation of these current days. People expect that their organizations are inspirational, are empowering them, are motivating them at all levels so that they can act with a lot of accountability and within a framework of inclusive decision making. Software will make the difference. A few years ago, not that long ago, 2003, this gentleman in the Harvard Business Review said, IT doesn't matter. It is not that long ago that we could still hear some CFOs, CEOs saying IT is a mandatory disease. What do I get from IT? Why do I have to invest every year more and more in IT? And they didn't have really an answer. A few years later, this is what we get, a complete shift, where what we see is that every organization is going to take advantage, whatever the business vertical they are operating in is, they will take advantage of their IT organization. As I said, software is the difference. I will take just one example. Think about the car manufacturing industry. Do we still manufacture cars, really? Cars which will drive us from one place to another place? Not really. if we think about the connected cars that Google, Volvo, BMW are building, and all of the other car manufacturers actually, these cars are much more like a data center, which is utilizing a lot of data, and this data can be used in case of failure of the car. What we want is to be supported in a remote way, anywhere, anytime, for every type of failure of the car. But we want also in the car, maybe soon stop driving and be entertained within the car. Receive some information about the environment which is close to where we are. Are there restaurants? Are there any entertaining programs on the television? So the idea is that IT has completely changed what the initial purpose of the car was. And recently, as I said, BMW and Volvo have been choosing our Red Hat technology in order to implement this data management, I would say, within the car. Companies, more and more, moving forward, will differentiate themselves based on their digital assets. And software is the key for this transformation. I just took a sample of CEOs from very large companies: Siemens, Airbus, Nestlé, Barclays, in very different business verticals. All of them have put the digital transformation as their top priority moving forward. They have understood that they need to take advantage and to leverage all of the possibilities provided by IT in order to build different organizations, to build different business models, and to compete against their peers on a different manner. What is digital transformation really? Well, digital transformation at the end of the day is all about making new and better applications. Applications make the difference. It's about modernizing infrastructure and taking advantage of cloud resources, inside or outside. It's about making IT and business processes more efficient, more scalable, and faster. Time is the essence. In our economies, time is the essence. And IT is allowing you as end users to provide services, applications, faster to your customers, to your end customers. Whether you are Gartner and you are talking about the bimodal IT, or you are IDC and you are talking about the third platform, the journey will be the same. The journey is about still taking advantage of the legacy architecture, renovating the core IT, this is what Gartner says, and also isolating some budget to create new capabilities. IDC is talking about the third platform, which is made of social medias, cloud, data analytics, big data analytics, and mobility. But at the end of the day, all of this consists in taking advantage of what is new on the market and still continuing operating what we have in the organizations. This is a couple of quotes, one of them from Simon Cashmore from Barclays. They have been a long-lasting customer of Red Hat, and they have adopted again recently our platform as a service, OpenShift, in order to develop more applications in a more modern way. And what he says is we need to deliver products to market quicker than ever and be more responsive to market trends. Again, time is the essence. We want to become the bank of the future. This is reminding me a story when 3 years ago only, I was in Spain with one of our other customer, another bank, BBVA. They are part of the top banks in the world. And there was this gentleman who was in charge of what they called their digital bank, that they started from scratch. No legacy, no assets from the past. That was a very bold move. And this gentleman talking to his troops, saying, ladies and gentlemen, in 2 years from now, we will not be a bank anymore. We will be a software company. Just to tell you how visionary this person was, thinking that at the end of the day, the banking activity is a software activity. Your strategy comes into the picture at this point because we do have solutions for you, but we need first to understand your needs. We need to understand your constraints. What are your constraints? The more we go, the more the requirements for the digital enterprise can be categorized in 4 blocks, I would say. You will be asked to be able to streamline and automate the provisioning of the resources. Again, not long ago, it was not unusual to hear from a director of the infrastructure that it takes months or weeks, at least days, to provision resources, both hardware and software, to manage the configurations. And nowadays, it is not acceptable anymore from the population of developers, for instance. They want to be delivered with what they need to help the company to keep competitive in minutes, sometimes in seconds. You will be asked to be more elastic and scalable. When you have some peaks of activity during the year, during the calendar year, what you want is to have access to resources inside and outside of the company without having to buy assets that you will put in your CapEx moving forward. You want to have access to this cloud bursting possibility, which will allow you to be extremely agile. With regards to agility and responsiveness, you will be very likely tempted to look at microservices, containers, all of these possibilities to better interact between production and operations and development in order to better serve, once again, the business needs. And finally, because all the IT must be always up and running, you will have to create an IT organization which is a utility-like organization. Digital transformation is really changing enterprises and entire industry in fundamental ways. As I said, the microservices and the containers approach will dramatically change the way people build applications. The access to the cloud resources will allow organizations and infrastructures to be much more flexible, lightweight, and able to answer in a timely manner the needs of the companies. And DevOps approach will also facilitate the way companies are operating. As you can see from this IDC number, more than 2/3 of the CEOs are looking at digital transformation to have a massive impact on their organizations moving forward. Platforms to support microservices architecture and DevOps processes need to be lightweight, modular, secure, and cloud native. The platforms you use for development are moving from traditional hardware to cloud native infrastructure. It's a multi-modal world using on-premise as well as public cloud assets. This is saving a lot of time for operations when they have to procure and provision hardware and software. It also helps developers to more rapidly get to what they need and therefore deliver their applications to the business. hybrid cloud makes it easier to end up with modern infrastructure and mobile apps that customers are asking for. Hybrid cloud, and specifically hybrid cloud environments, made up of both public and private cloud resources, are being adopted and considered to address multiple business challenges by companies in all business verticals. If I think about, and this is just coming to my mind as very different activities, a company like Betfair, this is a gaming company in the UK. Fastweb, this is an internet provider, also involved in telephony and television activity in Italy. Banco Santander, another bank, a very large bank in Spain and Latin America. GCHQ, a public sector organization in the UK, which is providing a platform to citizens to operate more than 400 services, which before they had to go and each time restart a process of identification and request and so on and so forth. All of this is now concentrated on only one platform. Thanks to our technology, these companies can address challenges and deliver greater scalability, faster time to market, improved security and compliance, better TCO, increased automation, and self-service capabilities. How can we help? Our portfolio is coming from our long-lasting and I would say 100% pure involvement in open source. Open source is behind today's technology leaps. Everything related to storage, to cloud, to network and storage as a move from proprietary to software-defined technologies is backed up by open source. There is not a single public cloud underneath which we don't have Linux. The move from very monolithic, mainframe-driven infrastructure to distributed x86-based infrastructure has been made possible thanks to Linux in particular. Moving from monolithic applications to container-based and microservices has been made again possible, not only thanks to the technology, but also thanks to an approach which is based on try small and fail small or succeed small and then move on, which brings a lot of agility in the way companies are developing applications. As Red Hat, we of course don't do this just for Linux. We contribute to multiple communities. And we are involved in these communities first for developing and bringing innovation. If you think about Red Hat as a company of 10,000 people worldwide, you can make a rough estimate that 45% of our staff are engineers contributing one way or the other to the product. So we are a software editor contributing a lot to the technology. But we do much more than this. And we do things that communities are not doing and should not do. Communities are extremely good at doing what they do. They are good at connecting people between themselves within the communities and across the world. They are very good at rapid innovation. They are very good at collaboration. They are very good at addressing common problems. When there is a bug, for instance, they are very good at that. But they are not good at making a product from the technology. And this is what we do. And they don't have to be good at that, because this is not what they are there for. We as Red Hat, on top of what we have done for development, we are also adding refining activities, testing activities, certifying activities, supporting activities, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we are doing this productization part of the job that communities cannot do. And this ends up with a very rich portfolio. All of these being based on Red Hat Linux, because this is really the cornerstone of the philosophy. What we want is customers, developers, to take the best from the investment they have made in our technology, starting with Red Hat Linux. On top of this, to make it simple, we have developed all of the components for an infrastructure as a service solution. This is our Red Hat OpenStack. Then we have created the conditions to bring applications in the cloud. This is our PaaS solution, platform as a service, which is called OpenShift. And on top of that, we have added some other tools related to how to develop applications, addressing business problem management, business rules engines, solutions, integration with Fuse, and so on and so forth, in order to provide you with a very, very wide portfolio of solutions so that you have a sort of continuity in your infrastructure. We also have tools for developers, and we also have a pretty comprehensive list of management tools with cloud forms in particular, satellite, and so on and so forth. So we are nowadays offering much more than Linux in order for you to combine innovation within your IT infrastructure. We bring also this view of an open organization. This is to take advantage of innovation within your teams and groups of people. And we are making sure that we will always remain 100% fully open source, meaning at Red Hat, there is not a single line of code which is proprietary. Everything at Red Hat is fully open source. When we buy a new technology, if it's a proprietary technology, we openize it, and then we create a community and give the software back to the community entirely. Together, we believe that we can make your dreams come true. We believe that we can help you figure out what are your challenges and address the challenges. We believe we can materialize your vision and make it an operationable vision for the benefit of your enterprises. These are some further quotes from different clients. Swisscom, that was interesting, an interesting case. We contacted them last year, this time, when they were already engaged in a proof of concept with a competitive solution. We finally convinced them that they should at least have a look at our solution. We also started with them on a POC process. And after 2 weeks, they decided to stop the POC and to buy our product because they were convinced. And since then, they have been expanding our technology into their organization because they get a lot of return on investment on what they bought from us. Partners as well are very important to us. You see here a quote from Atos, but the essence of Red Hat is that we are powered by our ecosystem. We work a lot with our partners. They are fundamental to us because they know the market, they are close to the customers, and they are very able to tell us what we need to do in order to be very effective when we serve you. When I think about my conclusion, and because it is one of my passion, I've been thinking about a Polish author, Sławomir Mrozek. You all know him. I mean, and he has written a lot of plays, and in particular, one called The Emigrants. Once upon a time, when I was younger, I have been playing this one. And you may remember, for those who know the play, that at a point in time, one of the characters is really debating hard with the other one, telling the other one, you know, we human people have a tendency to like domination. We like to be dominated, sometimes by people, and in this case it's difficult to get rid of that, but also many times we are dominated by things. And there is no reason to be dominated by things. There is no reason to accept external constraints from things. So I will finish with this question. Isn't it the time for us to completely leverage what you have been doing here for 10 years in Poland, to completely leverage the power of open source and to not be dominated by other proprietary technologies. Thank you very much.